So, Jitesh, thank you so much for agreeing to this. And as you know, what we're going to do is we're going to have 4 or 5 coaching sessions coming up after this, and we've had a bit of the paperwork to and fro to know where we're at. So, today's conversation is all about working out like what's your overarching goal? What do you want to achieve from all of those 4 or 5 coaching sessions and a bit of exploring around it. So I'm not going to try and coach you to finish off that, obviously, because we'd then have nothing to do in those 4 or 5 sessions,
Yep.
but at least get it on the table. Is that okay? How does that sound?
Yep, that sounds fine. Yeah, that does sound fine. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So we'll see how it goes.
Oh, well, I'm really pleased. Well, and I mentioned it a bit in the email. So let's start with this question. I know it's a big question, but what is the big goal, the overarching goal? How would you describe it from these coaching sessions?
But it is quite a big one, and it sounds a bit weird, but let's just go with it, right? It's how can I be my authentic self in the office, right? And it's let's go authentic professional self because
Mm.
you don't want the full version of me because that's probably not the most professional. But let's go with my most authentic professional self. And I think with the experience that I've got and the way I look at the world and my own lifestyle, all that kind of stuff, I think I can bring quite a lot to the office. But I always, not always, always is a bit too strong, but quite often I will back off
Mm.
of showing my true self in a professional setting. Again, I think more like to do with the fact that I'm just trying to fit in a bit more.
Yes.
So I think there's an element of hesitancy there, or an element of safety that I need to work through. But I think in terms of an overarching goal, that's the bit I would really like to do. Yeah, be interesting to see how we get there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, the road that it takes will be, it's as yet unknown, isn't it? So
Yeah,
to check in that there was a positive and I suppose a negative. The positive of like be a certain way. There's something you want to. There's a way that you want to be that you're describing as your authentic professional self. And then the negatives were the things you want to stop doing. You said you noticed particularly holding back. So is it both of those things? Is it things that you want to stop doing and new things you want to start doing?
I think it's a combination of both. I mean, we're having a conversation. I would say I'm being my authentic self with you,
Yeah.
which is great. And I'd love to take that into my more professional setting and just be like this,
Yeah.
which would be awesome. But there's obviously stuff that gets in the way. Um, I mean, I've noted 3 things down in preparation for this, just kind of going, what do I think is holding me back? Um, I'm gonna get my artificial intelligence on. So the first one was one we've discussed previously was about saying sorry when actually I don't need to say sorry.
Yeah.
So that's something I still need to work on. Um, what was the middle one? I've got to read that. Ah, yes. Um, actually be willing to put my hand up and kind of put my voice forward.
Mm.
I think that and the third point, the third one's being respectfully challenging leadership. They probably do fall into the same category, but it's about putting my hand up in a room where there's lots of people, many people I don't probably know,
Mm.
but asking challenging questions, respectfully challenging questions to leadership. And I think my reason for that is, again, I've got 20 years of experience doing what I do. Leaders are very good at doing what they do, but there is a gap
Yeah.
there. How can I help put my hand up and go, great idea, hear what you're saying. Have you considered X, Y, and Z? But there's a bit of a fear there as well, which I think is holding me back. And I think I know it's holding me back because I did it on Monday at a workshop. So I did hold back. I was like, want to say something, not sure it's the right thing to say. Am I going to make a fool of myself? So yeah, so I think that's 2 or 3 things, maybe 2.5 things there that we could look at.
Okay. Okay. And it sounds like that they have legs, doesn't it? It sounds like they've got variations on the theme. But so if we take those, well, the overarching authentic self, and then this idea of reducing, apologizing, putting your hand up, speaking up, being challenging, and I think also you're talking about adding value, so that what you say and what you do something happens in the organization.
Yeah,
If those and variations on those theme are achieved by both our coaching work, but also obviously the things you'll take out of the coaching room and do, where would you like to be? Let's go forward. Let's go 6 months. So it takes us 6 months to have our sessions. Where would you like to be with all of these topics?
I would like to be in a position where I can, let's say, command a space better with leadership
Mm,
and actually be able to work with the mixture of skills that we've got. I've got a set of skills, they've got a set of skills. How can we blend those two together to come out with something really powerful?
mm.
That would be awesome. I think in at the kind of middle manager level, I could do that, but I'd love to raise the bar and go to kind of the senior C-suite level a bit more and actually be able to command and work with that space much more confidently.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
So you want to be able to be in that place where the people you're working with and the people you're impacting on are those more senior people.
Indeed. Yeah.
Okay, okay, great. Okay. So we've got a goal. We've got something that you're looking to achieve. And how would you know if someone followed you around all day with a camera, which would be weird?
That'd be
What
weird.
what would you want them to see that would be different about you and your behaviors in 6 months' time?
Ooh, interesting. I think they'll probably see me carrying myself better, you know, back straight, shoulders back, that kind of stuff. Actually being more present with what I'm doing and being mindful of what I'm doing as well. I think those are the two things. And when you've got people in leadership positions, it can get quite intimidating because they know their stuff, they really know their stuff,
Yeah.
and they will challenge you very hard. But I think there's an element of being able to project what I know confidently, but also not being so ignorant in the fact that I know exactly what their problem is and I can fix it. That's not what I'm saying. It's engaging in a way that we can have a very constructive and a robust conversation. Um, put brainstorm ideas, come up with a plan, come up with a strategy, work out what the next steps are. It doesn't need to boil the ocean, but it's a way of how we can move forward gently because these problems that we're dealing with at that sort of level are big. If they could be done quickly, it'd be done quickly. But these are huge transformational sort of issues that we're having to deal with here. Um, but having, yeah, I think if they were to stand by me, I think talking like I know what I'm talking about, being mindful of the fact that I don't know everything
Mm.
and that we can work. I think the key word is collaboratively to achieve a goal. So probably similar to this sort of session, really, is kind of going, what do we want to achieve? How are we going to get there? What's going to get in our way? How do we, what does good look like? I think it's a very similar thing, but with a much larger audience and a very, very large paycheck that comes with it. Not a
Mm.
paycheck, not my paycheck, but a customer bill.
Yes. Okay, okay, and we're bringing in perhaps some of the the pressures around all of this, aren't you? That those things in the background, but you've described like a way of being in yourself, but also a way of working with those other people. So, how clear are you? How clear are you on what you want to work on, why you want to work on it, and what outcome you want?
I think I am pretty clear. I mean, in prep for this session, there was questions around what do I actually want to do, and the two and a half, 3 areas that I've discussed, I've seen come up time and time again. And I think when I say sorry, when I don't need to,
Yeah,
it throws me off.
yeah.
And I know it throws me off and it annoys me. So I'm kicking myself in my head. It's like, I shouldn't have said that. Why did I do that? So I kind of lose my flow a little bit. And then with not being affected by putting my hand up or anything like that, there is a fear there. So I want to, and I know there's a fear. So I need to, I don't think it's reasonable to say I'll get rid of the fear because fear is there for a reason, but it's working with it. So I think there's an element of fear, and I just need to work through that and be comfortable, more comfortable with that level of fear, I think.
So and when you say that, getting a bit more comfortable with a level of fear, how does that land with you?
How does it land? I think, no, I think I know. When I'm having a conversation with seniors, and I'm in flow. It feels good. But as soon as I realize I'm in flow and they're looking at me and they're thinking, this guy knows what he's talking about, and then suddenly I can clock that they're looking at me thinking they know what I'm talking about, then I go, rubbish, I don't know what I'm talking about, and it just goes by the wayside. So that's what happens. And it's just irritating. But on with peers, it's not a problem. But with seniors, it is a challenge for me. So if I can get rid of that, or at least work around that, that'd be amazing.
So,
I
so
think I've got it in me, but I just need to just focus my energy a bit more in that space.
but the image that I conjured up when you said about that, you're all fine until they look at you. It's like, remember the cartoons, when they run off the cliff? They're all fine running off the cliff, aren't they?
Yeah,
But then they look down.
it's exactly like that. Yeah, yeah. We put
Fine.
the expletives to one side, but yes.
Yeah, you get that. Okay. So I mean, I think you're getting into this next question that I wanted to ask, but I want to ask it really explicitly. Uh, why bring this to coaching? Clearly these are behaviors you found a workaround, or you live with, or you put up with, or you don't like, or whatever. So why have you chosen to think I'm going to talk about these in coaching?
Why now? That's a good
Mm,
question. I think I think I've got to that position where my knowledge is good. My knowledge is very good, and I'm very good at dealing with problems. I'm very good with stuff happening or things hitting the fan and doing that. I think I would like to be able to make more of an impact in the organizations I work with. And I think the only way I could do that is go up.
yeah,
So I'm becoming more strategic in the way I think, more strategic in the way I plan. I take a much more people-centric view of work now as well.
yeah.
So it's not just about technology. I do a lot of technology work, but I tend to put people up front in that. And actually, as you get higher up, that's more their focus. And I think I'm getting to that point where I think I can add, not I think, I'm certain I can add value in that space. So that would be the reason why now. Um, there were obviously lots of issues getting up to where I've got to, which I managed to work through, but these ones tend to still stick, and I need to just try and work through it.
Okay. So there's progression. So if you get through these things, you can provide more value to the organization, and you'll benefit yourself professionally, won't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I see these things always as a two-way street. If I can help them, I can help myself as well, and they can help me. So it's very much a collaborative way of working. And that's how I like to work.
Yes.
We've both got skills, we've both got ways of looking at problems. Let's see if we can work together. Yeah, very much so.
And what about the third leg of that? Because there's over there the organization, there's over here you and your career, or your advancement. What about over here for you personally? What would it mean for you personally to overcome this stuff?
Personally, oh wow, that's a good
Okay.
question. Uh, um, I think people who know me know I like to take on a challenge.
Yeah.
So I think of seeing this as another challenge for me, and one I think the educational challenges I've had, and let's say physical challenge, like run a half marathon or whatever it is, they're hard, but they're doable.
Mm.
And there's usually a fairly set formula you can follow and you can go through it. This stuff is very human focused and very challenging, and there's so many variables to it. So, in terms of where would I place something like this in terms of my hierarchy of challenges, I'd put it nearer the top. It's a very big challenge and it requires a lot of self-reflection and a lot of self-work and a lot of energy to do it, and a lot of mental discipline. So, I quite like a challenge. I'm a glutton for punishment. So, yeah, let's give it a go and see what we can do.
Okay. Well, and you're positioning it as something that is not a walk in the park. It's something that's quite tough, right?
Oh,
Something.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, very much so.
Um.
If walk in the
So,
park, I've done it.
so I've got about three or four questions bubbling away around that one, but I'll do my best to give them one at a time. Firstly, how much energy have you got to want to put into this bit of work?
I've got a fair bit of energy. I mean, I'm doing probably a lot of people in the same situation as me, doing a lot of self-help books and things like that. It's all good and well, but you need to put it into practice now. So I think I've got enough knowledge. I need to turn that knowledge into reality now. So there's a lot of prep work that's gone into this. I haven't come to this cold, and it's something I know has been bothering me for a while. So yeah, I've got the energy to do it, very much so.
Okay. And you've helped me out with my next question actually, because I was wondering how much you've already done. So if you've done some reading, you've done some thinking, you've probably jotted down notes and stuff. If zero is just starting, if 10 is like I'm ready to put everything into action, how far along the line have you done with your reading and all of that stuff? What number would you give
I
yourself?
would always say a good 80/20. I would
Okay.
say a good 80%. So eight on your scale.
Okay. So
I
so
would
you've
say
done you've done this much like background thinking and work and all that jazz ready to go.
I'm ready to go, and I think the last 20% is actually dip your toe in and give it a go.
Okay, okay. And this is a bit you have got energy for right now.
Yes.
Okay. We are being recorded, so that's
Yeah,
super
yeah.
official, right? You got.
I've committed to it.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Uh, okay. So you know what you're working on. You know why. You know why now, and you know how far you've gone already. If you get to these things, if you get to that place in 6 months' time, and your magic stalker looks at you and sees this new reformed you, and this old way of being is a thing of the past, how would you hope to describe like the overarching benefits of getting to this place?
It's got benefits. I think it'd be more around how I feel about myself.
Yeah.
I think that's where it would come from because any of this kind of self-help work is exceptionally hard work. Um, Most of us will be doing it for a long time, but there's points we have to do a bit more, and this is one of those points for me. Um, Benefit. Do you know what? Just feeling confident in yourself, knowing you've given it your best shot, knowing that you've got most of the way there. Yes, it was hard work. I mean, as with any challenge in life, you know it's hard work, but you will feel rewarded as a result. I'll probably buy myself a bottle of champagne, to be honest with you. So yes, done. But inevitably, it'll open up new challenges. That's what it'll do. There's no end game on this one.
Okay.
So inevitably, it'll open up a new set of challenges and a new way of thinking and a new way of looking at the world. So that's, I suppose, in some ways, looking forward to the next stage is what I do. I probably should enjoy the journey a bit more, but I'm very much let's get to my goal, let's do it, and let's see what the next thing comes up.
Okay.
So yeah,
And how much to what extent do you think you'll be able to recognize that? Okay, that positive feeling that you're looking to have.
I think I will recognize it. I mean, I'll give you a very simple example. I mean, starting my career doing presentations, I was bricking myself every time, absolutely bricking it. Um, but I knew it was a fundamental part of the job, and I needed to do it in order to get to a decent level, be able to present to the client in a way that is articulate, makes sense, and is easy to follow. And I just kept doing it, screwing up, doing it, screwing up, doing it, and just kept going. Then I got to a point where I can knock a presentation in no time, talk about it. As long as it's something I know about, I'm not worried. I don't even stress about it anymore, which is brilliant. Obviously, if they're leaders, I tend to stress out a bit more and put a lot more effort in. But if it's with if it's in a field I know enough about, not a problem. So I imagine it's going to feel a bit similar to that.
Okay. And that experience of going from new and nervous to skilled and calm, that is that something you feel you can replicate?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, very much so. There's lots of skills I've had to learn throughout my career. So there's been lots of areas going, "Ah, I don't know. Yeah, fine. Ah, I don't know. Yeah, fine.
Okay.
So, but it is it is a period of growth and a period of pain
Yes.
and suffering. Maybe painting a bad picture, but it is. You have to learn. You have to unlearn a lot of things and have to relearn new things, ready for the next challenge.
And your beliefs about that? I mean, you've used the word skills quite a few times today. Like your beliefs about being capable of learning these new things, these new skills.
I would class myself as a lifelong learner. I really would. I very much believe every day's a school day. Um, yeah, that's how I live my life.
Yeah.
So whether that's work, family, friends, whatever it is, yeah, if there's something to learn, I will try and learn it.
Every day's a school day. Okay. All right.
Every day's a school day.
So we're coming to the end of our conversation, and I got two things I wanted to ask to finish off. The first thing is, what are you looking forward to about embarking on this journey, this approach?
Think I'm looking forward to having somebody help guide me.
Mm.
I've got my own thoughts, but sometimes you need someone else just to give you a little nudge or just to go down a little rabbit hole, just to really expand why I feel a certain way and what I can do about it. So I think that will be a really interesting challenge and really interesting journey. And I'm sure it'll help with other parts of my life as well.
Yes, let it spill out to their fab. And as we come to the end of this conversation, if you reflect back these last 20 minutes, what's your learning? What's your learning about yourself?
Um, I know I've got the energy.
Mm.
I'm pretty driven to push myself, which is good. And I think if I can get through this with some help, yeah, it will help me achieve that goal of being my authentic self. But I think it was just even out in personal lives and outside with friends and all that kind of stuff, because some of this I do there as well. And I think it would help on the outside of work as well. And I think if it can help better me as a person wholly, it's worth the work,
Yes.
very much so.
Worth the work, worth the work. Does that sound like a good place to bring this to a close?
I think so, very much.
Well, I mean, I'm mindful that in this conversation, I've tried to keep it on the positive front, and it may or may not happen. Your obstacles might start presenting themselves to you in your head, and my takeaway question would be, how are you going to notice those obstacles? Well, clearly, there will be things we'll talk about in the coaching sessions, but having that bubbling, we don't have to answer it now, but having that bubbling away, is that an right takeaway question to notice
Yeah, that,
what you're looking forward to and the obstacles?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, obstacles come in all the time with work, and it's just trying to work through it and be mindful for me. So, yeah, but we can happily discuss more of that as we go through the sessions.
Fab, fab, thank you. Well, thank you so much, Jitesh. I really appreciate you getting stuck into this, and it feels like although this was all only goal setting, we've done quite a lot, haven't we? We've done quite a lot of work, and you're
Yeah,
already sharing loads of stuff. So thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this bit of work with you.
yeah, my pleasure. Thank you, Charlie.
Cheers.